U.S. President Joe Biden condemned Russia's unprovoked and unjustified attack by Russian military forces in a statement following explosions in Ukraine. What else did he say to Putin, and what was his response to it? Let's find out. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, Elon Musk World, where we tell you all the latest news about Elon Musk and his multi-billion-dollar companies. In today's video, we are going to tell you about the recent warning Joe Biden gave Vladimir Putin. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our incredible videos. President Joe Biden stated that his goal from the beginning was to keep America's allies on the same page, as Russian President Vladimir Putin believed he could divide NATO and carry out his invasion of Ukraine without encountering much international resolve or resistance. In an interview, Biden stated that Putin is having the exact opposite effect that he desired. While Putin's invasion entered its third day, the president spoke of total unity as the U.S. and its allies imposed tough penalties on Russia and increased help to Ukraine. President Putin has chosen a premeditated war that will bring a catastrophic loss of life and human suffering, Biden said. Russia alone is responsible for the death and destruction this attack will bring, and the United States and its allies and partners will respond in a united and decisive way. The world will hold Russia accountable. The White House issued this statement in response to explosions that occurred across Ukraine, including Kiev, the capital. In televised statements just before the explosions, Russian President Vladimir Putin launched a special military operation and called for Ukraine's demilitarization. Russia will pay a big price for this in the short and long term, especially in the long term, Biden said, adding that democracies throughout the world were joining together to reduce the instability produced by Putin. On Saturday, the European Commission, France, Germany, Italy, the United Kingdom, Canada, and the United States imposed new financial sanctions on Russia, including the exclusion of a number of Russian banks from the SWIFT banking message system and the imposition of restrictive measures on the Russian central bank. They also geared to build a transatlantic task force to identify and freeze the assets of individuals and corporations, as well as improve coordination against disinformation and other types of hybrid warfare. Biden warned earlier this week that Putin selected a deliberate conflict that will result in a catastrophic loss of life and human misery, and that the world will hold Russia responsible for the murder and destruction in its neighboring country. Russia has sent more than half of its 150,000-plus troops stationed around Ukraine into the nation by Saturday afternoon. Despite heavy Ukrainian resistance, no major cities have fallen to Russian forces, and a U.S. source said Saturday that Russian authorities are increasingly unhappy with the invasion progress. In the Saturday interview, Biden reacted to former President Donald Trump's praise for Putin's recognition of Ukraine's breakaway regions, stating, "I put as much stock in Trump saying Putin is a genius as I do Trump saying he's a stable genius." Democrats were outraged by Trump's pro-Putin comment, pointing out that a former U.S. president was siding with the despot amid Russian moves to attack a sovereign country. Former President George W. Bush called Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky a brave guy, and the attack on Ukraine appalling while addressing at the Conservative Political Action Conference in Orlando on Saturday evening. He continued to lay out the blame for the invasion squarely on Biden's shoulders. Few other GOP leaders took an explicitly pro-Putin posture, with the majority of the House Republican caucus pushing for sanctions against Russia and forcing their emphasis on Biden's response to the situation. Some famous conservatives, notably Tucker Carlson of Fox News, have rallied to the Kremlin's cause. Biden's first interview since nominating U.S. Circuit Court Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court on Friday, marking her the first black woman to be appointed to the court. Before he became president, Obama pledged to nominate a black woman to the Supreme Court, arguing that the country's top court should reflect its diversity. "She's bright," Biden remarked on Saturday, citing some of Jackson's accomplishments, including her time as the Supreme Court clerk. "She's also got a lot of personality. Character is important to me. Background as well as the ability to grasp other people's opinions in the country, I believe, is important." An advisor for the Interior Minister of Ukraine, Anton Gerashenko, said Russia's invasion has begun with missile strikes on Kiev in an official WhatsApp group with journalists. According to a senior U.S. official familiar with the newest U.S. intelligence, the early assessment from the U.S. is that this is the commencement of the complete Russian invasion. Given the proximity to the border, the sources believe the explosions reported in Kiev and Odessa are likely missiles, while those heard near Kharkiv in eastern Ukraine are likely artillery. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki tweeted that Biden had a secure call with members of his national security team from the White House. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, Chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff General Mark Milley, and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan were among those who joined Biden, she claimed. Biden also spoke with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky over the phone. Biden briefed Zelensky on the efforts we are taking to rally worldwide outrage, including tonight at the United Nations Security Council, according to a statement released after the call. He asked me to call on world leaders to speak out against President Putin's brazen aggression and to stand with the people of Ukraine, Biden added. For weeks, as Russia built up tens of thousands of troops and heavy weapons on Ukraine's border, Biden has led NATO and other European allies in trying to craft a package of what Washington says are unprecedented sanctions as a deterrent. Now that deterrence has failed, Western countries are moving to punish Russia. New penalties are being planned by U.S. officials, which might include targeting large banks, more oligarchs close to Putin, and more importantly, a ban on high-tech equipment and components exports to Russia. It was unclear how many of these steps Biden would announce. However, Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced in London that the UK is freezing the assets of Russian banking and arrangement industries titans, sanctioning 5 more billionaires and banning Airloft. And Germany's Vice Chancellor Robert Habeck said on Thursday that the country would face severe penalties that would shut off the Russian economy from industrial advancement, attack and freeze assets and financial holdings, and severely restrict access to European and American markets. The Biden administration has imposed strong restrictions on Russian banks and oligarchs' funds, as well as limiting the sale of critical technologies for Russia's military and economic development. The U.S. and its European allies revealed plans over the weekend to target the Russian central bank's foreign reserves and to stop certain Russian financial institutions from using the SWIFT international payment messaging system. However, oil and gas exports, which reportedly accounted for 36% of Russia's annual budget last year, have yet to be targeted by the sanctions. This has sparked outrage in both Ukraine and the United States. Tom Cotton, a famous foreign policy hawk and Republican senator from Arkansas, pushed the administration to keep escalating penalties on Sunday. It's past time for the president and a few of our European allies to stop waffling, he said. There are numerous loopholes in the financial sanctions published last night. Cotton was also questioned about Donald Trump's war views. Trump, who had previously lauded Putin while in office, eventually condemned the invasion in a speech on Saturday night, but continued to praise the Russian leader. Cotton refused to condemn or comment on Trump's record 4 times. The Biden administration hasn't ruled out additional sanctions and has hinted that more will be implemented as the battle unfolds. The sanctions are designed to put as much pressure on Russia's economy as possible, and we want to do everything we can to limit the damage to our own economy, Thomas Greenfield said. However, we're still considering additional and even stronger sanctions against the Russians. Biden administration officials expressed tentative support for planned talks between Russian and Ukrainian delegation, as announced by the Ukrainian President, Volodymyr Zelensky. The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, said State of the Union the U.S. would look forward to what comes out of those discussions. We sincerely hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give it a like and share it with your friends and family. Let us know if you have any questions or comments in the section below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see more of our incredible videos. You can also watch our other videos that we have specially selected for you. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.